The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, VISTA members, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm here with Fred Wheeler for Sales Training 101. This is DJ Hanson. I'm the Executive Director of SSPA, and thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that you will be muted during the program to keep the audio clear, but I don't want to cut you off from asking questions, so please use that question box on your webcast viewer to ask questions, and I'll keep an eye on that during the presentation, and then we'll take up all your questions one by one during the Q&A at the end of the program. We did set this webinar for an hour, but we will stay until all the questions are answered. And with the new FSPA website, I will be able to record and upload this webinar, so if you want to refer back to it or have some of your colleagues review it, you'll be able to access it through the FISPA website, and I expect to have it uploaded there by Friday. We will email the PowerPoint from today to all registered attendees, so don't worry about getting the slides. We will get those to you again either later today or tomorrow morning. So with the housekeeping done, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Fred Wheeler.
Good morning, or should I say good afternoon for some folks. Thanks again for joining us. I appreciate your time, and thanks for being FSPA members. Again, we've tried to do webinars, and I'm going to continue to do educational webinars as a benefit to our members. And one of the things we get a lot of questions about is sales. I don't know if many of you or any of you attended the marketing, but we did a series of marketing presentations last year, and now we're going to go into the sales side. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to BJ with them, and BJ will interrupt me if she has to with questions. But without further ado, this is basic sales training. I've done consulting work for many different industries, been in our industry for over 30 years now, so kind of some processes and procedures and then some tricks of the trade that you can use in the sales process. Excuse me. Just a quick slide on business development. You know, in the consulting world, that's what I do. Every business is the same. You know, your profit, everybody calls it the bottom line. Usually it lies in the middle. If you continue to drive sales growth or value while reducing operational costs, it's evident that your profit is going to continue to grow. Just a quick fun fact about sales. Only 17%, I've heard actually lower numbers than this, but this is pretty funny or interesting. Only 17% of salespeople in the United States today actually make their quota. In most businesses, 80% of sales come from 20% of the actual sales staff. So just some interesting data. When we're looking at sales and we're looking at personnel, generally there are two types or two types of people, types of salespeople and aspects of sales that you want to do. I call it fishing and farming. A lot of people call fishing hunting. Fishing is hunting for new business, good for business growth. Your win rate is going to be quite a bit lower when you're out looking for new clients and new customers. It usually runs about 20%, and the challenges for people that are hunters or fishing, like I call it, they tend to hunt for whales. In other words, they go for really big clients, whether your business is ready for them or not. And again, it's a long sales cycle. Farming are those again, personnel, they just sell to existing clients. They have that book of business they keep selling to. Again, very little growth there. Win rate's a lot higher, usually 80%. But the challenge is it's hard to get these folks to go out and look for new business. It's rare to find salespeople that will do both. That's kind of what you're looking for in your sales organization. So I get a question a lot, how do you catch a whale? Well, that's easy. Keep your little fish happy. In other words, if you're a fisherman, catch lots of bait fish, and sooner or later, you will get that larger customer, that bigger client. Marketing, again, we did a series of presentations on marketing. And again, we have all those presentations if you'd like to see them or need information. You know, how do we attract consumers or clients to your business, going from the latest in social media and websites, and use the MailChimp for mailing, and LinkedIn, and trade shows and seminars. Excuse me. Sales process. Look at the sales process. Again, you can, any industry you can look at, or any business, it's a 10% rule. You lose about 10% every time you go from one stage to another in the sales process. And in general, it can be defined as contacts, leads, opportunities, and that leads to sales. You get out what you put in. In consulting and working with, the last staff that I had was 211 salespeople. Always have to tell them, you get out what you put in. If you're not filling that funnel with contacts, you're not going to make any sales. So we look at the process in general. And again, moving that client or that prospect through the sales process. So again, you look at contacts, opening the door. Leads, you're gaining interest. Opportunities, you have an opportunity to propose a solution for them, so you're developing a solution. And then sales, of course, always present value. So again, the first step, contacts to leads. One of the best tools you can use is an elevator story. It's who you are in 10 seconds or less. In the business that I own right now, our elevator story is very simple. We use the latest technology to enable the greatest delivery that produces the best value in transaction delivery. 10 seconds or less. Now you can build that story behind that, but when somebody says, what do? Have that elevator story handy. It'll give a much greater opportunity to turn contacts into sales, into leads, I'm sorry. Okay, so again, questions to ask. Always ask questions to a prospect. You know, again, in the ATM transaction delivery business, do you deliver financial transactions to consumers? Do you want to know more? Always follow through. When can we meet? When's that next meeting? You know, can I email you? Always ask that question. Ran into a lot of sales staff that's the piece they would miss. They'd have a great conversation with someone, and they wouldn't set up that next appointment. So it's very, very critical, even if it's just saying hello in 6 months. Always set up that new appointment, getting those contacts and making them into leads. Do your homework. Very, very important to always do your homework. And the good news is today, other than 30 years ago when I started doing this, we have this thing called the internet. There is tons and tons of information on the internet. Who is this prospect? Who are they? Well, if you go to their website, there's a little tab that's called About Us. They will tell you everything about themselves and what their goals are and objectives and what they're concerned with. Read that just to understand them. You know, where are they? Google Maps. More than once, when I go to a new client, I print out actually pictures of every single branch. That way, at least they know I have an interest. I'm not going in there empty-handed. And of course, LinkedIn. Many professionals are on LinkedIn. Look for them on LinkedIn. Read those key contacts, you know, at that client. Read about them and where they came from. You'll likely find something in common and get to know them. Knowledge is a big difference maker when you're working with a new client. The first meeting, I'm sure everybody's heard this. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen. Very, very important to do more listening than talking. Ask a few questions. Common knowledge in sales is people don't buy boxes. They don't buy stuff. They obtain solutions to problems. Whether you are hungry and need food and you go to a restaurant, you're solving that problem. You need to get to work, well, you're going to go buy a car. So identify those problems for that client and that'll help you develop the next step. So again, just some questions to ask. So what are your challenges? For years, when I ran a small ATM company, first thing I was asked a prospect, a potential client, was, where's your biggest problem ATM? And I would tell them I would fix it for free. And we would do that, and I gained an awful lot of clients that way. What are your plans over the next 5 years? Think of long term. A lot of times they don't do that, and they're kind of shocked that, you know, somebody will bring that up and say, how can I help you grow your business for the long term? Do you like your current provider? A lot of times you'll hear a yes. Anything but great means they're dissatisfied. If they don't jump up and down and say it's great, that means they're dissatisfied. So again, you're gathering information. So follow through. Can I provide you with some information on our solutions? When can I deliver that to you? So again, once you gathered that right information, set up that next appointment, follow through. Do your homework. So you guys gathered a lot of information. Now you can actually develop a custom proposal to them with those challenges that they said they had. So what solutions do you offer to their problems? What makes you different, and how are you better? Okay? Always be prepared when you go in. Again, a challenge with me, and I see this a lot notably in our industry, used to be, well, I'll name them. I used to be an NCR master bar. One of the challenges with NCR, there would be 6 people in selling the exact same box to the exact same client. Doesn't work. Then again, with that client, with that prospect, it's all about price. You don't want to sell boxes. Selling boxes to customers is for suckers. Okay, you don't want it to be all about cost. If you drop your cost enough, you can't afford to deliver. Long term, you're going to lose that client anyway. And you're setting the cheap expectation. So that's not what you want to do. You want to be the best value. You don't want to be the cheapest guy on the block. If you're going to be cheap, it's a good way to go out of business. I've seen that not just in our industry, but in others. So again, solutions, providing solutions. Be different. Propose solutions with options. Good, better, best is a great way to go in. If you go in 80% of the time, if you present a client or a prospect with a proposal that has options on it, number one, they'll like the fact that they have options. Number two, I hate to say it, you're muddying the waters against those guys that are selling boxes because you're different and there's no real comparison. And if you do a good, better, best, about 80% of the time they're going to pick better. But always have that option in there. So again, in this example, the good would be hardware and service. The better would be hardware, service, and again, a lot of us are in the security business. Just add that on. The best would be a full turnkey solution with the hardware and the service and maybe the monitoring. So again, always good, better, best. Be different and offer options. A little sales exercise I've been using for years. Well, I get a group of our salesmen together at a sales training presentation. I'll pull out a pen and tell every one of them the pen cost $1. Okay, cost everybody the same, $1. What will happen the majority of the time is it turns into a bidding war. One person will say $1.50, the next one will go $1.20, the last one will go $1.05. When we get down to the $1.05 person, I usually look at that account rep and go, so what's your commission? 5%, right? You just lost money on that sale. So same exercise, offering value. We identified the problem. Customer doesn't want a pen, they want to be able to write. So we're going to provide them with the ability to write long term. Okay? So what's the solution? Again, this is just an example. We provide them the pen. Yeah, it costs $1. We provide them with 2 refills over the next year, which gives them the ability to write for a year. We charge them 25 cents a month for it. Easy payments. Guess what? We were just different, and we have a built-in 33% profit on that. So the sale was $3, cost was $2. Again, offer solutions. Do your homework. Again, be prepared when you do a presentation to have the answers in your pocket. Why are you better than your competitor? Why is it better? Can I get, if they're looking for a little bit more, can I get something else? Can you reduce your cost? Old trick of the trade I probably shouldn't let out. I build in 5% just so that I can reduce it at the end in most sales. Okay. Rule of thumb, never, ever, ever badmouth your competition. That's a really bad idea. You will lose a client anywhere along the line if you do that. You have that possibility. You're basically telling them whoever's doing their existing supplier or their existing service provider, that they made a bad decision. That prospect, that client, may like the staff but not like the company and what they deliver. Always market your value when you're turning that opportunity into a sale. So again, the way you can do this is go in with loaded answers. If you know your competition, and most people do, do your homework and know who they are. Does your competitor have long delivery times? Well, you don't have to say they have long delivery time. Just say we deliver in X, a shorter time frame. High professional services costs, implementation costs. Well, notice that you have no professional service or lower. They're bigger. Been doing this the whole time. I've always been the little guy. We're local. We provide personal service. Out of scope bills. Again, old technology, new technology. Cheaper is a better value. Make sure you're always providing value. So again, you can point out competitors' weaknesses without even saying their name or without even saying, well, they. Just tell people how you're better. Okay, just some sales tools. I'm a Salesforce guy. I've actually implemented Salesforce for big companies, small companies. It is a great tool to help you go through the process, even if you use it by yourself. It keeps track of that process that I just went through. Again, taking prospects through the entire sales process. And believe it or not, it's really, really inexpensive. About $25 a month to keep organized and have all your contacts and all your client information in one place so that you can look at it at a snapshot and put each one of those clients, each one of those opportunities into every stage. So again, you can look at that snapshot at any point in time. Great tool. There are other CRM tools out there that are really good. I really like Salesforce, but again, make sure you have a way of tracking so you know that you have a certain number of clients. Seen many, many salespeople that just forget that, yeah, I'm supposed to get a proposal to this person. Where do you find good salespeople? I hear this all the time. Where do we find good salespeople? I need a salesperson. Well, the first thing you look at is the 3 C's. And again, I've always used this everywhere for any type of staff or any team member I'm joining the business. First thing I look for is character. You can't teach character. So find people with good character. They're all around you. Culture. Do they fit into the culture of your business? You bring somebody into your business that doesn't fit into your culture, it will make a mess and a headache for you for a long time. And then, believe it or not, last is capability. Can they do it? You can train people with good character that fit in your culture to do almost anything. Where have I found salespeople over the years? Had a lady that was a Mary Kay lady. Turned out to be one of my best salespeople. Service techs. Again, not all of them can do it, but service techs work. If you're in the financial institution industry, look in people in branches. I have hired people to do sales, and believe it or not, one of my best service techs was a teller at a financial institution that I didn't do service on. Again, those people are always out there. They're not in the obvious places. Constantly improve your business. Again, I'm a Kaizen, Six Sigma, whatever you want to call it, constant improvement guy. One of the easy things and simple things you can do for anything, use the 5 whys. Be brutally honest with yourself or brutally honest with your team and your business. If you ask yourself why 5 times, you will find the root cause of any problem you have. and then go back and fix it. So there's an example here on the screen. Again, it's called multiple different things, but again, just take the time periodically, once a week, to go back and look at where you had an issue and fix it. If you constantly improve your business, you're going to get better, because in business, you're either growing or going, and if you're not fixing things, you're not getting any better, you're not growing. So just for reference, I am certified by UTC's version of this called ACE. So again, Six Sigma your sales. What we're doing is we're looking at every piece of the process. We're identifying problems with contacts. Again, if that's the problem, you have not enough contacts, improve your marketing. Leads, not enough leads, improve your elevator story, improve getting to that next step, you know, getting people interested, developing that interest. Opportunities, improve your solutions, you know, get a better value in your solutions. And again, at the end, I hear this from many people, we're too expensive. 99.9% of the time, it isn't the cost, it's the value proposition. You're not selling enough value into your business. And that's the Reader's Digest version of sales. If we have any questions at this point, we'd love to take them. BJ, do you have anything coming in?
I do not. If anybody's got anything, I have some things that I wanted to talk to you about, Fred, while we wait for some questions.
Sure.
If you have a starting out salesperson, a young salesperson on your team, and they're consistently not closing and they're not making their quota, what would be your steps? How would you mentor them? What would you do to fix that? Because I know that when I talk to the CISPA members, it's always when you're getting a salesperson started and they haven't been out in the field long and they don't have that mileage on them and they're having trouble, where do you start?
Well, again, you look at two things. Number one, it's that character thing. Are they out there? Are they actually out there? Are they out there, you know, meeting people? The lady that was the Mary Kay lady, she got to be known as the cookie lady. She would drive around to financial institutions with freshly baked cookies every morning and drive around to FIs and just walk in with cookies and say, here, I brought you some cookies. So she got through the door. So that's the first thing. Are they doing that? Are they using the process? Are you know, they out there, you know, on the doors? Number two, believe it or not, is look internally. Are you arming them with the right tools? You know, have you trained them? Do you have somebody there to mentor them? Or are you just sending them out there on the road and saying, go sell? If you're just taking any salesperson, even, you know, notably the young ones, the starters, if you don't have them with a mentor, they're going to have a hard time. So again, number one, make sure they're out doing what they're supposed to be doing. Number two, make sure they have the right tools. Make sure, you know, they have everything they need, and then you've trained them well.
All right, we do have a question. What are some good ways to get into the mindset of consistently selling the value of your product?
It's all, and again, it's all about training. It's all about, you know, getting your staff and getting yourself to you know, understand that. First, you have to develop it. You know, you wouldn't believe how many businesses I've dealt with, they don't have an elevator story. You ask them who they are, and they go, well, we're X company. Well, what do you do? Well, we sell peanut butter. Well, why is your peanut butter better than anybody else's? So step one is to develop that. Sit down with your team and your business and develop that elevator story, who we are. What are you proud of? You know, in our business, and again, when I ran a small business, it was all about, we're here, we're local. You know, you need something, don't get lost by the big guys. So, and again, you have to build that into your, you know, it's who you are. So your salespeople should be able to rattle off who you are, not just that elevator story, but build on that for 10 minutes. Turn that 10 seconds into 10 minutes. They should be able to do that without thinking.
Did you actually set up scenarios to make them do that?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I would do ride-alongs, and I would go out with our sales staff, especially the new people, and see what they were doing, then coach them on how to get better, and make sure that they knew that elevator story. The easiest thing to do, and I hear this from sales folks all the time: we're too expensive, we're too expensive, we're too expensive. No, it's your value prop. You help them work on the value proposition when they're dealing with a client. You'll improve your sales and you'll improve your profitability.
Okay, I have a question from Mark Donaldson. You're going to like this one. How much of sales do you believe is luck?
How much is luck?
Luck, yes.
What if I said I don't believe in luck, and what is luck? It's when preparedness meets opportunity. So make sure you're prepared. Okay, if you're prepared and you bump into an opportunity, and again, a lot of sales happen that way. You'll get a call out of the blue, happened to me for years, that says, hey, I saw one of your machines, I saw you on the internet, can you come talk to me? I just had a very, very large financial institution 2 weeks ago. A friend of mine ran into a person at a church who said, I work for this FI, and we're looking to do this. I happen to have that solution that I've been working 2 years on getting ready. So luck is preparedness meeting opportunity, and those opportunities will pop up.
All right. How would you contrast your tips for face-to-face visits with telemarketing? This is from Dan Vanderwall at Breck Tools.
Yeah, I do not like telemarketing. I prefer face-to-face. You do have to do some email marketing, some web marketing. Face-to-face, there's tons more value in that than anything else. The only thing I would do for telemarketing or making a call to someone would be just to get you in the door. Don't like telemarketing in general.
Okay. When you're, without bad-mouthing the competition, what are some good keywords to convince your customer your product is better? This is from Devin O'Flynn. So you're not bad-mouthing the competition.
Yeah, so again, what you do is you go out and study your competition and find out where you're better. And don't say they're worse, just say you're better. Again, if you think your solution is better because it's colored pink, well, make sure you say, hey, listen, our solution is pink. They don't make a pink one. So again, it's all about doing your homework and looking at where your opportunity is with that competitor. A lot of the examples that I put up here, I actually use on a daily basis because I studied my competitors and I know what they are struggling with, they're challenged with. So I just bring it up as a value instead of, well, they don't do this. Most of your clients and your customers will figure that out really, really quickly. There was one competitor I had for years, and all I would have to do was walk into one of their sites, one of their customers, and say, I'm not going to send you bills every day. And guess what? I just won. Because I knew that was the challenge, that solution provider, that's what their motive was. They did a lot of selling, billing for everything. So again, just know your competition and turn that talk, what you say, into a value for you. Because if that client, especially if it's somebody that is existing, their existing provider, they'll know right away that you're different without even bringing up their name.
In your opinion, what is the best follow-up strategy? That's from Beth Austin. What's the best follow-up strategy?
Depends on the stage. The best follow-up strategy, honestly, is to soft sell. Again, just say, hey, listen, I don't want to be pushy. I just like to reach out to you in 2 weeks, or when are you available? Honestly, an old trick of the trade that I used I would drive 50 miles to be right next door. So I would reach out to a prospect and say, hey, listen, I'm going to be in your town right next to your home office. Do you mind if I stop in? A lot of times, you know, majority of the times, if they have any interest at all, they say, sure. Well, right next door is a big distance for me. All it is setting up a follow-up. So you can get in there and sell it, and again, move that prospect down that, you know, down the line.
All right. All right. So how about notable differences between culture and local climate to consider when going into the international arena? That's from Adam Connor. Differences between the culture and local climate when you're going international.
Yeah, and that's one thing to understand. There are big differences. You know, when I worked for a mega company, UTC, I worked all over the globe, and the culture in many different areas of the world is quite a bit different. So if you're going to go into a new market, number one, I would look for someone in that market, in that area, that you can work with, because they know the culture to begin with, because it is kind of tough. You know, the way you do things in America won't work in Hong Kong or even Australia. I did a lot of work in Australia, and that was a completely different market. So find a friend, a partner, if you're going to go international, and that knows the culture, and listen to them, because they'll tell you, just like, you know, one of the providers, solution providers I work with, is from out of the country, and that's one of the challenges they have, is just understanding the differences in the culture here in the United States.
Okay, I've got a long question here from Mike Rozak. Right now, we're growing as a small company and trying to adjust our sales team. Do you have experience in structuring sales teams, especially in regards to sales support staff, account managers, large account managers, outside sales, new sales, etc.? So far, his research shows that sales support is important and that each industry is different in its needs and requirements. In the smaller company, the more you have to customize the personality types within the company, this is obviously tough to get a grasp on.
Yeah, and then again, one of the best ways that I've used that is a mentoring program. As long as some of your, and again, one of my favorite sayings is, you can't drag a horse to water. Yeah. You can drag a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. The other side of that is put some salt in their oats. So if you put something in it, when you bring in young salespeople, and tell them you're going to be splitting some of your commission with your mentor, and set up a mentoring program with some of your existing staff, that'll really help that sales support piece. If you're not big enough to actually have a sales support team, a mentoring program works really, really well. And again, it has to be the right salespeople that you have. I've seen it, tenured salespeople not even be interested in it, and a lot of other ones are like, yeah, I'll take it on. You know, we're growing the company. I get something out of it. I get a cut of the commissions. And again, you know, they're helping that salesperson to get jump started. So that would be my recommendation.
When you structure a sales team, you know, there seems to be, again, I'm probably going back to the 70s. In the 70s, all the guys did their own proposals. They did their, you know, you had price lists. They maybe went to the sales manager to get their pricing on that quote approved. But everybody was kind of self-sufficient. Then we got into a lot of this re-engineering the process stuff that's out there, where there's a whole team that does the lead generation, and there's a group that puts together the proposals, and there's different people that go in and do the site visit. What experience do you have with those, and what have you seen the most success for? Definitely in our industry with the FIs, what do you see as being the most suitable to the targets in the FI industry?
Yeah, it depends on the size of the business. again, and it goes back to finding the right people. You bring people out of a great big company that are used to having that all done for them. They will flounder where there isn't all that support. So understand that. If you're going after somebody that works for one of the big guys, make sure they know up front that they're not going to have 10,000 people there to do all their work for them. I'm a firm believer in tools. Get the right tools in the right place so that your salespeople aren't spending a lot of time on, generating proposals and doing that. Have standard proposals. The proposals I write today, the only thing I change is the back page. They're all the same. It's a lot about, still marketing the value of our business, and then here's your solution. So get the right tools in place. If you're a small business, make those salespeople do some of the work because they're going to learn more. But again, when you're bringing somebody in, understand that in those big mega companies, they do have what BJ said. They have all these people for support, and if you bring somebody in that's used to that and they don't have it, they're going to really struggle. That answer the question, BJ, or did I go astray?
No, I think that the idea there is what is that outside salesperson doing, and again, there's two different thoughts on that. Again, in re-engineering the sales process, that the last place I was, they didn't want the salespeople wasting their time on cold calling, and so they had a team doing that and then handing the leads over. And the training that I had back in the 80s when I had a management consultant come in to R.L. Hansen was the spin selling, where the idea was right from the initial contact, you were establishing a relationship. So it's kind of interesting, these two different takes on it. One is this team comes in, but there's no individual in charge of that sales process. And ours was that the minute that salesperson made the first call, made the first contact, that they were establishing a relationship, and just every follow-up was to take that relationship to a next level. So I guess, for the approach these days, that it goes either way. It's kind of a personal choice of what is more important, maximizing that salesperson's time or understanding that it's just going to take time to build that sales process. I guess that's where this a part of it is going.
Yeah, and again, the way that I've always developed contacts, and again, don't believe, and I've done, hired teams to do telemarketing. I see people out there with lists. If you can touch somebody, in other words, in person, touch somebody and shake their hand, you're going to have a lot more luck. So a great place to get contacts, and again, of the thousands of contacts I have today, I've touched most of them through trade shows, doing open houses or lunch and learns on a local level, and inviting people in for a free lunch and doing some educational seminar. Great place, again, to develop contacts. Doing, like I said, telemarketing, I'm not a real big believer in, but again, that personal touch, and then taking those and developing leads off of those. When you're talking to your clients that you have today, they probably know somebody who's working at another prospect. So get an introduction, a warm introduction. That's going to do a lot better than you calling that 9 times out of 10 people aren't going to answer the phone anyway. So, that personal touch and using those contacts to build more contacts is what I believe in.
I hope, Mike, that answers the question you had about the outside salespeople and the work of the sales process. If that doesn't answer your question, just let me know. And he said, yes, that helps. So the other question here is from Adam Connor. He's very interested in personal growth regards to marketing, sales, interpersonal communication. What are some readily available resources for expanding your personal ability? Again, most FISPA members don't have formal training programs inside their organizations, just not big enough to support that. So if you're working for a company that doesn't offer a sales training program, Fred, what would you recommend they do to get that type of help?
Well, again, there are some places that offer inside the industry and outside the industry. Do you have good staff internally? You'll be surprised that how much they'll jump in. One of the things that we developed in the sales team, and this was on a regional that I worked with, is we developed SMEs. We sold a lot of stuff. We sold security. We sold ATMs. We sold physical security. And we took our sales team, our tenured sales team, and made them experts. One was an expert in security. One was an expert in ATMs. So it made the group more productive. As far as sales training goes, look internally first, because again, you'll get more buy-in from your people. If not, there are people out there that offer sales training. BJ, I think we're actually offering a sales training class at the
yes, at Las Vegas. We've set up a class on Wednesday, the 17th. Those of you that may know Jeff Johnston, whose long history in the in this industry, has become a Sandler sales trainer. You can Google Sandler, and they've been around a long time. Are very respected in sales training. Have all different kinds of programs. He's actually going to be giving a sales management class on that Wednesday from, I think it's going to be about a 7-hour class. It's going to be a full-day training on that Wednesday. But if you want to email me, bj@fspa1.com, I can also get you in touch with Jeff. And because Sandler does offer great sales training. I used it for my salespeople back in the day. We won't talk about how long ago. But again, people that are having trouble getting started want to make sure they're very professional in their approach, want to understand the basics and get some really good structure in their sales process. That type of sales training can really make a difference.
Yeah, and as far as structure goes, again, if you're not going to use Salesforce, find a good CRM tool, because it'll tell you a lot. Notably from those, where all your salespeople are challenged. Let's face it, not everybody's good at every step in the process. I used to be terrible at doing follow-ups. I would talk to somebody for an hour and walk away and go, okay, now what's next? So again, it's just looking at the process and going through the process and fixing it. One of the things I'll tell you is the Six Sigma, don't pay $1 million for it. All it is sitting down and taking every single problem in your, challenge in your business or problem and finding a solution for it. That training costs thousands of dollars, and the people that get black belt certified, like I am, they ask for a lot of money to do it. I'm just saying it's actually not rocket science. So you can probably do a lot of that, just constant improvement and looking at where you're challenged, and using a CRM tool like Salesforce will let you know what step in that process your business and each individual, if you even want to look at it for yourself, that'll show you where your challenges are, where you need to get better to become one of those 17%.
Mike has also asked that we talk a little bit more about the tool. He has a CRM. They have standardized proposals, but like you were talking about, they sell so many products that they've got to even take that standardization to another level. They use Google Drive and VPNs. Any other tools or any way to organize that you would suggest?
Yeah, and again, what I would recommend is Salesforce actually has multiple different levels that you can purchase. So depending on where you are, I mean, they have that. I like the tool. That's probably the best one I've seen. You can go through many different steps. Sorry to make people dizzy here. I'm trying to get back to the along the way. Salesforce even has a service tool now called ServiceForce, but get somebody that knows this. Again, I'm not one for paying $1 billion to anybody, but you can actually set all that up in a good CRM tool, and Salesforce is so gooey. In other words, you can make it do just about anything. But I would look at using that tool. It's an address book. You can do darn near anything with it. And again, you just pay for what you need. So again, lots of CRM tools out there. The one I like, it's probably the best that's out there, is Salesforce. So it is the #1 CRM tool in the world today.
So you do proposal, this is from Mike, you do proposal generation via Salesforce?
Yep. Yeah, you can do mass mailings. You can do mass mailings out of Salesforce. You can do proposal generation out of Salesforce. It'll track your wins and losses. You can do anything. One of the things, if you get somebody that knows how to do Salesforce really well and understands engineering like I do, all it is boxes and labels. If you have somebody who knows how to do it, you can make any box, put any label on any box, and gather any data you want out of that tool. That's why I like it. It's so flexible. You can customize it very, very easily. And again, generate proposals and track the proposals. And again, look at forecast. There's a tool in there to forecast by when you think it's going to close. So it's good on the operational side that you've got a strong chance to close at a certain date, so you can balance your operations with it. But yeah, it's actually, I've seen quite a few of them. Salesforce is the best one I've seen, though.
It is a monthly buy-in, though, Fred, right? Salesforce is a online.
And if you look on the screen, it goes as low as $25 per person per month.
Okay.
Which is nothing, and up from there.
Now,
so
if somebody wanted to do a purchase of a CRM, which is what Mike is proposing to do, have you explored any options with doing a purchase of a CRM and structuring that?
Yeah, and again, God, I couldn't even. I haven't looked at purchasing a CRM and honestly any software. I'm a cloud guy for quite a while. I can look out and do some research and see what's out there. But when you purchase software like that, you have to house it. You have to maintain it. Like I said, I lean towards cloud solutions and something that there's someone there to help me maintain it. So if you'd like me to, I can do some research, but I haven't looked at purchasing a CRM in a long time.
Yeah. But there, so you don't create your, do you create your proposals like in Word and then enter something in the CRM in Salesforce, or does Salesforce actually have your proposal templates in it?
Well, they have some templates, but then you customize your templates. You put them in the Salesforce, and then your salespeople pull those specific templates. Whether you sell, 5,000 different things. Like I said, I've always been one for selling everything. So when I do a proposal to a client, and I've been doing this for years, I make sure that I have a standard form that covers everything. And then at the end, it's the solution they're looking for, the one thing. Because you would be shocked, not just by doing that, but doing just, bringing people in-house to do lunch and learns. How many of your current clients have no idea everything you do? I've gone and done training presentations on security and sold ATMs by mistake because that client had no idea we did ATMs, and I've done the backwards. I've sold video systems doing a lunch and learn on PCI compliance for ATMs. So I'm a firm believer in all your proposals look the same. In other words, you continue to market everything that you do, and then at the very end of it is that specific proposal for that specific solution for that specific client's problem or their challenge.
Okay. I do like the idea of the cloud-based. I'm kind of living that way too because I have to be able to do everything when I travel, so everything I have is cloud-based. So no matter where I am, I can get on and do stuff. So, and then you've got to have your salespeople be able to create proposals regardless of where they are or they're traveling. So,
yeah, and again, a lot of the CRM systems, especially Salesforce, has a mobile app. So you can get in and do your updates right from your mobile phone and get your contacts and everything right from your smartphone. So you don't have to be sitting at a PC for it, and it also can be broken down by different areas. Like I said, the last one of these I did was 43 offices and 211 salespeople that reported to different managers, and we set up a tree that only certain people had access to certain information, and everybody under them knew what their reports did, but they didn't know upstream. But of course, the VPs had all the information. So again, I like it. It's a great tool. And again, you put the proposals right in there. It's very simple for them to get a proposal out and get it done in minutes.
okay. Do you have any recommendations to salespeople that are using Salesforce about keeping it cleaned up? I mean, do you have any idea how much time they should allocate a week because those proposals are in there? Are they, closed? Are they won? Are they further along in the pipeline?
Yeah, and again, most of the time, if you're using it as a tool, they're in there every day. And again, just once a week, go back and look at where you are and just change. All you have to do is change the status, and Salesforce automatically puts them into another bucket.
Hmm.
So if you set it up, that's the biggest thing. I did a rebuild for a large customer on Salesforce, and it actually turned it out not to be a rebuild because all he did was dump a bunch of bad data in it, and it was a start over because there was so much garbage in it. So it's just like everything else, constant housekeeping and doing things right, and you won't have those challenges. But I don't believe in ever getting rid of contacts. So again, if you've got a contact that got to the proposal stage and you lost, keep that contact. Go back and visit it sometime. You never know when you're going to need it.
Okay. Mike,
Right.
did that answer your question about the proposal generation software? Because I think that was the last question. If anybody else has any questions, let me know now. Okay. From Steve Baxter, can you discuss how you use customer referrals?
Customer referrals?
Yeah. How do you use them?
Well, first you have to ask for them.
Right.
So when you
now you got them. And now what do you do?
If at all possible, get that current client to do an intro for you. Whether it's just an email that says, hey, my friend Fred here does a great job at selling pizza. Can he come over and talk to you? That's the best way. Absolutely best way. That's a very hot lead. If not, get their permission to use their name, and either give them a call or drop them an email and say, hey, your friend Joe over here at Appalachian Community Credit Union said you might be looking for a new solution for your security. Well, now you have a referral there. But again, the best way is to actually get them to do an introduction for you. If not, just get their permission to use their name, and then you do the introduction. And make sure you your email, if you're going to email, make sure your email subject line says, your friend Joe at Appalachian said I should reach out to you. Then they won't just dump it. Okay?
Yep. Okay. Steve, did that answer your question? Were you interested in? Okay, that's what he wanted to know. That was what he wanted to know. So I think that wraps everything up. Again, thank you everybody for your time, and thank you, Fred, for putting this on. Yes, Fred?
One very, very important thing. Folks, don't forget our conference in Las Vegas this year. We're looking forward to seeing you all there. Please come and attend. And we're doing a lot more training presentations at the conference in beautiful Las Vegas. So.
Now I was going to put in the shameless plug too, Fred. We've got educational sessions on Thursday afternoon, all day Friday, and we've offered the suppliers the training rooms to use on Saturday so that they can do their own, how do you sell our product, how do you move things forward in your sales cycle with, some pretty highly technical products. So again, sign up for the Vegas conference. And also, we are going to email this PowerPoint today to all the registered attendees. I'll get that out to you. And if you have any questions for Fred, we'll get you his contact information. If you have any ideas for anything you'd like to see in a future webinar, or if you'd like to do a deeper dive into sales, just let me know. We'll get it scheduled. So thank you, everybody, for your time today. And again, thank you, Fred, for putting this on. That's awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thanks all. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.